What you're looking at are the streets of Myanmar's administrative capital, Naypyidaw. But by the looks of it, does it really seem like the capital city of a country that is home to almost 53 million people? Well, the reasons behind the city being the way it is are much deeper than we think. In order to understand them, we need to take a look at the history of this city. Construction of this new capital city began in 2002, and it was completed in just 4 years, making it one of the fastest capital city constructions in modern times. The city was designed by a team of German and Singaporean architects and urban planners under the leadership of Tan Shui, who was the country's military leader at that time. On November 6, 2005, the newly built city of Naypyidaw replaced the country's most popular and largest city, Yangon, as the new capital. The city was designed to be a symbol of the country's emergence as a modern and prosperous nation, and the government invested heavily in its construction. The announcement came as a surprise to many people. One of the major reasons for this decision included concerns over the security and congestion of Yangon as the reasons for the move. It was believed that the former capital was densely populated and overcrowded with traffic and fuss, so a new capital city was an inevitable option. Furthermore, it was also believed that the country needed a more centrally located capital for security reasons. Tan Shui believed that the port city of Yangon was under a threat. Due to its port access, the city provided businessmen and traders with ease of access and transportation. As it turns out, that accessibility was thought to be dangerous by the military leader, as he believed the US invasion of the country to be a majorly increasing threat at that time. The name Naypyidaw means abode of kings in the Burmese language. The city was built to be a grand and majestic capital. It is home to many impressive government buildings, including the Parliament Building, the Presidential Palace, and the Supreme Court, which are some of the largest government buildings in the world. The city also has a massive 20-lane highway that is rarely used. Despite the grand vision for the city, Naypyidaw has failed to live up to its promise. It remains a mostly empty city, with few people living or working there. The city's grand buildings and wide streets stand as a monument to the government's ambitions, but they also serve as a reminder of the city's emptiness and isolation. Despite being the capital city of Myanmar, Naypyidaw is referred to as a ghost city because of its eerie emptiness. In many parts of the city, it is not uncommon to see large government buildings and hotels that appear to be completely deserted. One of the most striking features of the city's emptiness is the lack of street vendors and small businesses. In most cities in Myanmar, street vendors selling food and souvenirs are a common sight, but in Naypyidaw, they are practically non-existent. This lack of small businesses and street life has contributed to the city's strange and unnatural atmosphere. Another reason for the emptiness of Naypyidaw is the lack of public transportation. The city is spread out over a vast area, and it can be difficult to get around without a car. The lack of public transportation options has made it challenging for people to travel to and from the city, making it less attractive as a place to live or work. But still, compared to the next reason that I'm about to share, all of this seems nothing. This is where things tend to take a darker turn. The Rohingya Genocide, which began in 2017, is widely considered to be one of the worst humanitarian crises of the 21st century. The Rohingya are a Muslim minority group in Myanmar, and they have faced decades of persecution and discrimination from the predominantly Buddhist government. In August 2017, the Myanmar military launched a brutal crackdown on the Rohingya in Rakhine State, which led to widespread violence, killings, and the displacement of over 700,000 Rohingya refugees. The genocide took place in 2 phases, the first lasting from October 2016 to January 2017 under the leadership of then Prime Minister Aung San Suu Kyi, who lost her Nobel Peace Prize due to this inhumane act, rightfully so. The second phase began in August 2017 and is going on till this date with no stop to it, no matter what. As a result, almost 1 million Rohingya Muslims escaped the country, seeking refuge in nearby South Asian countries. The international community condemned the actions of the Myanmar military, and many countries imposed economic sanctions and travel restrictions on Myanmar. This had a significant impact on the economy, as foreign investment and tourism decreased, and many people were reluctant to do business with a country that was perpetrating human rights abuses. The Rohingya crisis also had a significant impact on Naypyidaw, which was supposed to be a modern and prosperous capital city. Many foreign businesses and investors had planned to establish a presence in the city, but the crisis made it difficult for them to do so. The international backlash against Myanmar also made it less attractive for people to move to the country, and the cost of living in Naypyidaw became even higher due to the decreased economic activity. One of the most notable features of Naypyidaw is its unique layout, which was designed to separate government and civilian activities. The city is divided into zones with separate areas designated for government buildings, residential neighborhoods, and commercial activities. The government zone is located in the center of the city, and it contains many of the city's most impressive buildings. The residential neighborhoods are located on the outskirts of the city, and they are primarily home to government officials, military personnel, and their families. The layout of Naypyidaw is part of a deliberate effort by the military government to distance normal people from government officials. This is because the government sees itself as being in a state of constant conflict with the people of Myanmar, particularly with ethnic minority groups and pro-democracy activists. By creating a city that is heavily segregated, the government is able to control the movements of civilians and minimize the risk of protests and other forms of dissent. The heavily guarded government zone is designed to prevent unauthorized access. This effectively creates a physical barrier between the government and the people, making it difficult for the two to interact on a regular basis. The purpose of this discrimination is to protect the government and maintain its grip on power, but it has had negative consequences for the people of Myanmar. It has made it difficult for normal people to access government services, and it has made it easier for the government to carry out human rights abuses and other forms of repression without fear of being held accountable. To sum it up, the unique layout of Naypyidaw, which was designed to keep apart government and civilian activities, has contributed to the city's emptiness. The heavily guarded government zones have made it difficult for many people to live in the city, and the lack of vibrancy in the center of the city has further contributed to its ghostly atmosphere.